The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
With so many people living longer, the fear of outliving your money becomes a reality for many of us. Will I be a financial burden? Will I outlive my money? How will I be remembered? My name is Neil Himmelstein, president of Main Street Planning Group. Please contact me by visiting mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. I will introduce you to strategies that will guarantee you will not outlive your money, that can guarantee you will not be a burden on your loved ones. Through a collaborative approach, we will uncover solutions that offer tax-efficient strategies, lifetime income, and legacy planning, choice, organization, direction, and education. That is the code we stand behind. Contact mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. And listen to me every Friday at 3 p.m. as I host the Main Street Code for Financial Success, right here on 103.9 LI News Radio. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. I'm here every Friday at 3 o'clock. If you miss an episode, you can always catch my website, themainstreetcode.com, and see past episodes. Or if you're driving and you're out of town and you want to hear my show, you can go on Apple or Spotify and listen to this as a podcast. Or you can always live stream, or I think there's past broadcasts on 103.9 website. So we keep you entertained, and hopefully you have lots of questions, and we get lots of questions, and lots of people come in and talk to us about the show, and we do appreciate all the good, positive feedback. And if there's negative feedback, I appreciate that too. You know, I always tell people, if my shirt's hanging out, please let me know so I don't embarrass myself when I walk into a room. So thank you for all that. So this show is about what we do. And Main Street Planning Group is an independent wholesaler across the United States, helping advisors with and clients with solutions, with financial solutions regarding insurance. We specialize in life insurance, annuities, disability, long-term care, life settlements, and we work with companies and individuals in solving their particular needs. We do it 24/7. We're non-company specific. We're completely independent. We represent all companies, maybe 30 different companies. And that's important because no one product, no one thing works for everybody. So we want to work with you to make sure you have what works for you and your family. The other thing we talk about all the time is we have a whole group of people, financial professionals, that we've put together. You can call it a network or call it whatever it is, but you need to have a financial team. And if you don't have a financial team, we can help you put one together so that your plans are completely coordinated with everybody else's plans, and your plans are your plans, and we'll work with whoever you're working with and make things work to fit your plans. I get a call every day, about people who have policies, and they've had them for 20 years, 30 years, and they get their statement, and they call me. Why do I get the call? Well, I may have been their agent at one time, or because of my agency, I have so many, I have insurance companies that actually give my number out to call, because they don't want to, their client service people don't know what they're doing, basically. For some reason, my name's on the list, but also because I've wholesaled with so many different companies and so many different people, and people have retired and people have done this, that the default is call Main Street Planning Group. They'll help you. And I help every single person that calls, every single one. I will give you the time, I don't charge, to go over what it is you have. And so what happens is you have so many people that bought policies many, many years ago. They probably, hopefully you have your policy. When people lose their policy, they put it somewhere. It's a problem, by the way. Make sure you have your policy, okay? But they get statements and they look at them. Maybe the money comes out of their checking account every month. They don't look at it. And then one day they wake up and they look at their statement. And they go, hey, Neil, I got this call yesterday. I get it every day. I swear to God. I don't understand. It says that this policy will terminate in 2025. Okay. What don't you understand? Well, I've been paying for 20 years. Why would it terminate? What's wrong here? Or I'll say, I don't know whether to keep this policy or, I'm not paying for it. I am paying for it. And I say, oh, do you have a statement? Oh, yes, we have a statement. Oh, okay. Now, let me explain how these statements work. Now, I recommend you send me your statement because on that statement gives me so much information without me even calling the company or anything else. I can look at a statement and tell you what's what. So on the page of the statement, it'll tell you, okay, the first thing you want to look at is they send you a statement and it says your name, right? It says the insured and it says the owner. Oh my God, did I have a problem this week? You know what? Make sure that's accurate. That one line, the top line, owner. So we had a situation this week, which I'm like livid about. I spent hours on, and it said this guy owned his own policy. Well, he didn't. We called the insurance company. Said, "Oh no, we wanted to find out about the policy." He called his company. The company says, "We can't talk to you." What do you mean you can't talk to me? They'll only talk to the owner of the policy. You're not the owner of the policy. Well, who owns the policy? I can't tell you that. This is what the insurance company told him until he called me. So we called the insurance company and said, it's owned by a trust. Okay, it's owned by a trust. Okay. Who can talk to him on behalf of the trust? The trustee. Who are the trustees? Can't tell you. So we found out at one time this policy was owned by a trust. It was owned by him. Then it was owned by a trust. And then he gave it to his daughter. His daughter owns the policy. The insurance company, whose back office people are not even in this country, I have no idea. I hate to use the expression, jerked us around for 2 weeks till I had to go to upper management and saying, oh, who really owns this policy? Now we can find out about it. So that's the first thing you check. Okay. That's a little aside. I wasn't even going to go there, but it was a big area of frustration this week with this insurance company. I got in a big hullabaloo because they should have accurate records. That's why I say keep your records accurate. If you don't have them accurate, update them. Update them. Call your advisor. Make sure things are up to date. All right. So these other people that called me yesterday said, I don't know whether to keep this policy, blah, blah, blah. We've been paying for it for 20 years. My husband's 69. The insurance company is, well, the one, I'll give you the name. She said it's All America. All America, I know, is a company that bought up 3 other companies. They're actually not an active insurance company. They're a reinsurance company that just bought these policies and administer them. So they're difficult to deal with in general, tracking things down. I know that. But on that statement, they say, well, we've been paying $129 a month forever. It's a $200,000 death benefit. How's your husband? Oh, he's 69. How's his health? Blah, 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 blah. I said, okay, turn it over to page 2. Turn the page over. Every statement is very similar the way they do this. They have to do this. And this is how it was a universal life policy. A lot of these older policies are universal life policies, and this is how they work. So if I tell you the inner workings, you'll understand why they have to be looked at. That's why I'm doing this. I'm really dissecting it for you, and I can pretty much do it without even seeing a statement because I've been doing it so long. So what happens is every month when they take out a premium, they list it on the back of the page for last year, and you get an annual statement with every insurance company. They do send them annually. They don't send them monthly. They don't send them quarterly. They send them annually. Okay? And on the back of the statement, we'll go down on a month by month how much you paid. If you paid quarterly, it'll show quarterly. If you paid annually, it'll show annually. It'll show how much you paid for. Okay? And then there's a line for every month that says cost of insurance. What people don't realize is, as they get older, that cost of insurance goes up every month. It could go up $2, it could go up $5, it could go up 50 cents. But every month, typically, unless, her statement's a little wacky, but typically that will go up with your age. Now, the way they set these policies up and the way they still exist when you buy a universal, an index universal, a variable universal, which is a flexible whole life kind of policy, the way they set these things up is you have to put cash in the policy. You preload these policies with cash, and if you're paying the right amount over time with interest, it will last. Does that make sense? We're coming up on a break, so I want to get into this a little more. But no, when you have these old universal life policies, you have to look at them. And I'll tell you why. Right after the break, you're listening to Main Street Code for Financial Success. If you want to reach me, 631-647-4694. My name is Neil. I'm going to be back right after a minute, but we're going into the specifics of that statement. Thank you, and we'll be right back and talk a little more about that. Welcome back to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. Once again, 631-647-4694. Right before the break, we were talking about your insurance statement. You've had an insurance policy for 25 years, and I want to teach you how to read that statement so you can be more knowledgeable when you get your insurance statement. And please read that statement. First thing I said before the break, check out the name of the insured and the owner. Very, very important for tax reasons, for multiple reasons, for policy service. If you're not the owner of the policy, the insurance company won't even talk to you. You could be the insured. They only talk to the owner. That's number one. Secondly, when you go to the back, the second page of every policy, and you've had an old policy, I get these calls every day. Listen, if I don't get the calls, it's because people don't call. Not because where people aren't interested or they get a statement, they throw it away or whatever. So you turn it over, and every month that you make a premium payment, or quarterly or annually, it will show you what you paid for the previous year. It's an annual statement. That's line 1. Line 2 says cost of insurance. Now, the cost of insurance goes up every month for your lifetime. So if you've had a policy for 20 years and you've been paying $100 a month, and you see that cost of insurance is now $120 a month, you're going to have a problem. Your policy is going to run out of cash. So the way these things are set up, if they're set up properly, is you're overfunding it in the beginning. They take an average funding, if you set these policies up right, to your life expectancy or to age 100 or 120, however you set it up with when you originally set these up. And you're kind of overfunding it in the beginning, and that money is gaining interest in that bucket. But they take out a cost of insurance every month. And again, internally, that cost of insurance goes up every month. It says it right on your statement. It could be $83 this month, $83.50 next month, $83.75 next month. And then it gives a total at the end of the year, right? Then there's another column. There's an expense cost. So every time you pay, the insurance company takes a little haircut from you. And then there's the money in your bucket already, plus whatever extra after they take out all those things. Let's say over the years you've saved $20,000 inside your policy, and they add an interest factor to it. If it's universal life, it's a credited interest rate, and a lot of the older policies may be paying 3 or 4%. If it's a index universal life, it has to go against an index related to the stock market, it's still fixed. If it's a variable life, it goes against something else. Whatever the interest strategy is, it goes against, and then it adds to the total. Now, the first thing I would look at, if you'd say, is my policy going to last? It will tell you somewhere that if you continue paying these premiums, it's only going to last maybe 5 more years. Or it'll last forever. Or maybe you haven't been paying premiums, you've just been relying on the fact that you put in a lot of money in the beginning. And it'll tell you, you got to pay at some point. And by the time you have to pay, if you're not haven't paid in a while, it's going to be like a balloon payment. It's going to be huge. because these costs of insurance keeps coming out of your cash all the time. It's like having a bucket of cash with a hole in it. And that hole gets bigger and bigger every year. So the idea is to overfund the bucket so the bucket doesn't run out of cash, if that makes sense. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. That's how these policies work. So what you look at is, there's 2 more lines now. It's going to say you at the end of last year, I had $18,000. The end of this year, I have $20,000. Well, that's good. The end of last year, I had $18,000. The end of this year, even though I'm paying $100 a month or whatever I'm paying, I have $16,000 a year. Not so good. That means your cost of insurance every month is more than you're putting in. But how can that be? I've been paying for 25 years. Let me go back. There's 2 things going on here. One, every month that premium goes up a little bit. Not the premium, the cost of insurance. Number 2, the crediting rate changes every year. So, you may have bought a policy in the 80s, and your interest rate was 9% they were paying, or 8%, or 7%, whatever it was. And now, over time, when we hit that downturn of interest rates, it went down to 3% or 4%. Unfortunately, especially with the older contracts, it never came back up. So it hovered. It hovered. And I've got these old policies that are hovering, and they're dying. The policies are running out of cash, and they're going to collapse if you don't look at them. Oh my God, my policy's going to collapse. Now what do? Here's my options. Hey, your policy's doing great. I get this call. Should I keep this policy? Should I get rid of this policy? I have a surrender value. Maybe you've outlived it. Maybe you only planned it to go to your 70 or something. That's possibly. Maybe right now you're really sick. I need this policy. I want to make sure my family has it. You might have to pay more money. Or maybe, you know what? I really can't afford to keep this policy. I want to sell it. So there's a lot of options. But if you don't ask, it'll run out of money and you'll have nothing. So then you'll get mad and angry and say, I've been paying for 25 years and now I have nothing. And people call me and they're angry. Don't be angry at me. I didn't sell you the policy or anything. And maybe, well, my agent, but who's your agent? I don't know. I haven't talked to him in 10 years. I don't know where I got this policy. I have it. Well, this is why you work with people that you follow up with every year or on a regular basis and say, is this policy okay? Is this, and so we have people that call us and say, hey, they wake up one day and go, hey, maybe they have a health situation going on. Hey, oh. And then they get angry. But please don't get angry at me. I only tell the truth. And I'm very direct. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I'd rather know the truth. Like I said, if I walk in the room, my shirt's hanging out back, please tell me. I don't want to walk around my shirt hanging out, okay? Just tell me the truth. So, and now let's resolve it. Let's find solutions that'll help you with your policy. Now, I am amiss today. I was going to have a guest. I'm going to have him next week. He's an advocate for people with special diseases, dealing with the mental and thing. And I just want to say this, kind of as a commercial, but truth. There's going to be a time in your life, everyone's life, where you're going to run across a health issue. Sorry. In today's world, ultimately, all when we go to sleep, gone, that's it, done. Don't work that way. We all run into issues. I find it almost laughable every time there's a snowstorm and everybody's running to Home Depot to get shovels and salt. Or there's a hurricane in Florida and people are running to the store to buy wood and everything else. There's going to be a hurricane tomorrow. We don't know when you're going to have a problem. We don't, in an instant, you could have a problem. We could be driving down Long Island Expressway and get in an accident. We got a problem. We could be, all of a sudden there's an issue, right? But the one thing I can say, whether it's mental, physical, anything else, is you have to prepare yourself, not just your house, yourself. So Whether it's buying insurance or financial planning or your business, you have to set a stage to prepare yourself for these things that are going to happen. And that's why I do what I do. And that's why you should give me a call in the planning. It's much more difficult to plan after you've had your health issues. You've been listening to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. Next week, hopefully our guest will be feeling good, and we'll talk about some of this stuff. And I thank you so much. You have a terrific Memorial Day weekend. Thank you. Neil Himmelstein, 631-647-4694. Have a great day, everyone.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.